I was already standing when they noticed me. The bailiff hadn't announced my name yet. My daughter laughed softly like this was a misunderstanding that would correct itself. My son-in-law leaned back in his chair and shook his head. Pity, arrogant, certain. Then the judge looked up. Color drained from his face. His pen slipped. "My God," he whispered, "is that really him?" The room turned toward me all at once. That was the moment everything they thought they knew collapsed. I didn't smile. I never do when the ending finally arrives. I remember when my daughter first brought him home, confident, polished, the kind of man who speaks like he's already won. He shook my hand firmly, looked me in the eye, and told me how much he admired integrity. I believed him, or maybe I wanted to. I funded their first house, quietly co-signed the business loan, put my name nowhere near the paperwork. I'd spent my life staying invisible. Old habits don't die. They thanked me with smiles and promises. I accepted both. When my wife died, something shifted. Grief makes you smaller in other people's eyes. They started speaking for me, managing my finances, helping. The first sign was a missing statement. The second was a signature that wasn't mine. I didn't confront them. I never confront. I observe. I watched the way my daughter avoided my eyes, the way my son-in-law spoke too quickly when numbers came up. I found the shell companies tucked inside a trust I'd built decades ago, elegant, confident, sloppy. They assumed age meant weakness. They assumed silence meant ignorance. They forgot who taught them how contracts work. I didn't get angry. Anger is loud. Anger makes mistakes. I built timelines, pulled filings, let them keep stealing while I documented every move. I let my daughter file for conservatorship, claiming I was confused. I let her lawyer argue that I was unfit to manage my affairs. That part hurt, but pain is temporary. Leverage is permanent. I met with people who still owed me favors, former colleagues, judges who remembered the cases I buried, auditors who enjoy puzzles. I never threatened. I only asked questions. By the time the hearing was scheduled, the evidence filled 3 binders. By the time subpoenas went out, their accounts were already frozen. They still didn't know. They thought this was about inheritance. They thought I was a stubborn old man clinging to relevance. They had no idea they'd dragged me back into a courtroom. Which brings us back to that moment. The judge staring at me like he'd seen a ghost. Because he had. I used to stand where he stood. Federal prosecutor, financial crimes, organized fraud. I disappeared after a case that made powerful people nervous. Witness protection didn't erase me. It sharpened me. The judge remembered the conviction rate, the way I never lost. My son-in-law noticed the change in the room too late. His smile faltered. My daughter's laughter died in her throat. When the judge called my name, he used my old one. I took the stand calmly. Binder 1, dates, amounts, signatures. Binder 2, emails, shell companies, kickbacks. Binder 3, the part where my son-in-law moved money through an account tied to an ongoing federal investigation. The courtroom didn't breathe. My daughter cried, not for me, for herself. When the judge ordered the case expanded into criminal proceedings, my son-in-law finally looked at me like he understood. I met his eyes. No anger, no triumph, just certainty. Now, months later, I sit alone in a quiet house that's mine again. My name is back on every deed. My daughter doesn't call. Her husband is negotiating terms with people who don't negotiate. Do I feel guilty? No, I feel precise. They took advantage of the version of me they invented, the weak father, the fading man, the silent witness. They never asked why I was so comfortable staying quiet. Revenge wasn't loud. It didn't require cruelty. It required patience and memory. When I walked into that courtroom, they laughed because they thought the story was over. They were wrong. That day wasn't my ending. It was my return.